Hey everybody, it's Alex from Alex and Erika's channel, and we're back to talk today about another beautiful cruise destination, Amber Cove in the Dominican Republic. So Amber Cove is owned by Carnival Corporation. Even though there's many cruise ports in the Dominican Republic, Amber Cove is the one we're going to talk about specifically today in this video. And just like Roatan in Honduras or going to Grand Turk, these are areas that have been purchased and developed by Carnival Corporation so they can basically have a place to come and offload their cruise passengers for the day. Some of these ports that are owned by individual cruise lines, whether it's Carnival or Virgin or Royal Caribbean, in my opinion, are some of the most enjoyable and best days that you can have on a cruise ship, just because of the amenities, and there's so much to do in all these individual places, and Amber Cove is one of those. This video may be a little bit on the shorter side, but not because it's Amber Cove, just because, in my opinion, there's only a few things that are really at the top of the list as far as doing. If you've been to Amber Cove a few times, then you might branch out and consider a few other items. But if this is your first time visiting Amber Cove, I think the best thing you can do is enjoy everything that Amber Cove has to offer. So I talk about this a little bit in other videos. When you're planning a cruise, if it's going to be 7 nights and you have 3 or 4 different destinations, budget for a lot of people is always a factor. So you've got to take that into consideration, because if you can afford to do an excursion every port you're visiting, then fantastic. But if you're limited and you think that you might only do an excursion, like a paid excursion through the cruise line or through another vendor at 1 or 2 of the ports that you're visiting, then Amber Cove might be one of the places where you just get off the boat and really enjoy everything that is right there within walking distance. So I always suggest, check out the excursions offered through the cruise line, specifically with Carnival, for example. There's a lot of different excursions that you can do if you want to get outside of Amber Cove. But again, if this is your first time visiting Amber Cove, I think what I would recommend that you do is get off the ship. Obviously, take your cruise ship towel with you. Walk there around the, they have not so much a terminal, but there's like a little village there where there's a lot of shops, and you can do some souvenir shopping. And then you can walk out to the corner. There's an Amber Cove sign where you can take a photo. It's a great spot for photos. And then you can mingle around and kill some time, and then make your way over to the, I forget what it's called, but there is a lookout. There's a bar up there, and it has the most beautiful view looking out over Amber Cove in the entire area. If you look on Google Maps, it's you'll see a little octagon with a white roof, and if you click on it, it says Puerto Plata, and I don't think that's the name, just from what I remember, but there's a bar up there, and it has a 360 degree platform where you can walk around and take photos, and it's a great spot to go check out and take some fabulous photos from. And then there's a couple different things you can do after that. If an excursion is high on your priority list, what I would suggest is maybe check out some of the excursion options available through your cruise line, and maybe look for something that's a little bit on the shorter end, like 3 or 4 hours, so you can go out, maybe get a sneak peek, experience some of what the Dominican has to offer, but then also come back and enjoy everything that Amber Cove also has to offer. And again, if this is your first time visiting Amber Cove, there's nothing wrong with staying right there on the property. There's a lot to do. I know the first couple times we visited Amber Cove, we really enjoyed it, especially with the kids, because they had some water slides, there's some zip lining. Zip lining you do have to pay for, and then there is a small little kids water park area, and they've got a swim up bar. So what we like to do is just find a good spot in the middle, like a central location where we can kind of keep an eye on everything and keep an eye on the kids, and then just enjoy the pool and just relax and really unwind. And for us, we've really enjoyed our time there. And the reason I talk a little bit about maybe not doing an excursion at Amber Cove is, depending on the ports that you're visiting, save that money and use it on another destination. For example, like if you're going to St. Thomas or St. Martin, that may be a spot where you want to get a driver or a van, or do an excursion where you're getting around the entire island to check it out and really experience it. But there's a lot to do right there within walking distance in the Amber Cove area. So I'd say if this is your first time, stay within that area and just really enjoy all that it has to offer. And I know a lot of people talk about security issues and whatnot. I mean, the Dominican Republic, it's like anything else. If you stay within the tourist areas, you're going to be fine. And specifically Amber Cove, I mean, this is a property that's owned by Carnival Corporation. If you're concerned about security, you're not going to have any problems there within the Amber Cove area. It's a secure area. It's safe. You're only going to see cruise ship passengers there within that area, and then the staff that is working there within the facilities. And then with that said, if you want to spend a little bit of money and do something that's a little bit more unique, the one thing that Amber Cove does have that is kind of unique is they have these cabanas. And they have some hillside cabanas, and those are about $500. I know it sounds like a lot, but they'll take up to 8 people. And then they have these other cabanas, which I think I would lean more towards. And they have an ocean cabana, and it's also about $500. That will take about 8 people. And they're literally right above the ocean with a ladder into the ocean. It gives you kind of like that Tahiti vibe. Although the water is really clear, it's not quite that clear. And then they have a grand cabana. There's one cabana right in the middle that they consider the grand cabana, and that will accompany up to 20 people, but it is $2,000, so it's a little pricey. But if you had a group of 20 people and you're looking to just hang out and really just have some total privacy in your own cabana, and you do have access to water sports and snacks and some drinks. I don't think alcoholic beverages are included, but it does look like a pretty cool spot. And my bonus excursion, because we have been to Amber Cove a couple times, we're gonna get outside and go do a catamaran excursion. There's a couple options available through the cruise lines. Chances are we'll probably do that. I mean, I know that they typically book through the same company, but anytime you're on a catamaran in a tropical area with beautiful water, I think you're bound to have a good time. And the Catamaran Excursion just looks amazing. It looks like a fantastic time. And then what I think we'll do is, if it's 4 or 5 hours, we'll do that early, and then we'll still come back to Amber Cove and spend a couple hours in the pool in the afternoon and hang out. So those are just a few options. If you're visiting Amber Cove and you're not sure what to do, I hope that information helps you. If it does, please share the video, subscribe, and hit the like button. And if you find it useful, share the video within your Facebook group or the other people that you're going to be taking a cruise with. I'd love to hop into some of these Facebook groups and provide some information and answer questions. And like I've said in the past, I'd love to see people get the most of their vacation. You're spending a lot of money to take a cruise, and so spend a little time and just do a little planning and preparation in advance, because you'll really be able to maximize your time in the cruise port. And you want to get off with a plan. You don't want to get off and then try to figure everything out, and there's a lot of commotion, and you know, it's always overwhelming because there's always a lot of vendors. No matter what port you're at, they're usually always trying to get your business. They're usually telling you everything you want to hear. My experience is, do all that planning in advance. It's going to make everything go a lot smoother. It's going to be a lot less stressful, and it's going to be a very enjoyable day. So I hope that helps, and I hope you have a fantastic cruise, and we'll talk to you soon.